Screens. Excuse me. We're on the air. It's the good stuff right here. Yeah, I did 48 hours. Well, to be fair, I did like 36 hours and then I did some celery juice. And then tonight around 5, I had a steak, 3 eggs, some plums. Yeah, it was good. I feel great. I'm going to go for a run in the morning to get some metabolism flowing and to get my breath flowing again. I noticed that as I'm doing the breath holds in the morning, I'm down to like 2 minutes, 20 seconds. And I was up to 3 minutes, 12. I think 3:21 was my record. Yeah, I hit 3 minutes, probably 5 times that I broke the 3-minute mark. So some good traction overall on that whole thing. I'm going to talk about balancing paradox. What's a paradox? What's this thing? Who's this guy? Paradox. What is a paradox? Can anyone explain the unexplainable word? That's a paradox. A paradox is a truth that seems to contradict itself on the surface. So what am I talking about? Why am I talking about paradoxes? So many minds, not enough hands. Feng Wang Shan. Namo Avalokitesvara Buddha. Namo Avalokitesvara Buddha. I went to Hong Kong back in 2007. And while I was there, I was working in Macau and I had to renew my passport to Macau by going to Hong Kong for 10 days. And I didn't have any money. So I went to a place called Lantau Island. This Lantau Island over here. Outside of, this is the largest island in Hong Kong, located west of Hong Kong Island and the Kowloon Peninsula, and is part of the New Territories. Yeah, so this was super cool, actually, to go here. I had a lot of fun in Lantau Island. I think that was the days of, I might have had a BlackBerry at that time, or just pre-BlackBerry. And so I think I had taken pictures on some kind of, I had pictures from somewhere. I mean, pre-cell phone. That's ancient, right? Anyway, I mean, if you guys have listened to any of this, or if you guys know me, if you're familiar with my rantings and ravings and ramblings and rambunctiousness, this guy's obviously my Buddha. That's my Buddha, the Avalokitesvara Buddha. I found him at the bottom of the Lantau Peak, which is called Feng Wang Shan. And this guy is this guy right here, this little Buddha over here. You can kind of see a little bit, is massive. I mean, look at that mountain right there for reference in the background is about 1,000 meters. So 3,000 feet altitude. So it's about half a mile high. And on the other side of that mountain is the beach or the coast of Lantau Island, the southern coast. And so I was kind of making a circle around the outside of the island. I had to spend 10 days out there in Hong Kong, and I walked around the outside of the island, and I learned the word feng yao, which means friend. And, you know, I ate some dried fish out of the markets and some kumquats, and stumbled upon various abandoned monasteries out there. It was really an incredible thing. I ate some crawfish. I caught some like wild, tiny little crawfish and hermit crabs and that kind of stuff. I had a pack of ramen noodles and a jar of peanut butter in my backpack, and I had this little cook pot. So I made a fire and I cooked up some of those crawfish with the ramen noodles, and it was amazing. They were delicious, man. Flavorful. So as I'm walking around the south side of the island over there, I had a couple of nights where I had some good times on the southern side of the island with some of the locals, and I think one of those guys told me, hey, you have to go climb the Dragon Phoenix Mountain, the Feng Wang Shan. And so I climbed it, and man, it was a hell of a hike to get up there. You come down the side of the mountain towards the Buddha, which is that way. There's a little trail on that mountainside right there, and you can see that kind of come down. So you come down that trail when you come down the other side, and then you kind of pop right back up some little wiggly windies over here. And then there's a temple underneath this guy. And I went in that temple and I found this guy with 1,000 arms. And, you know, I didn't really realize that, and Buddhas are super cool. There's so much history, and this Buddha is the Buddha of great compassion. Sometimes she'll be portrayed as a female with a little water pitcher and like a lotus in her hand. And and sometimes it's this guy. So I was in Hong Kong and it was this guy. It was pretty cool. So I lost all the pictures. I know I had pictures on a laptop a long time ago. I don't even know when's the last time I saw those. So pretty much probably gone. But there's no time for regrets or looking back. God is great, and so are you. How are we supposed to do all this shit? Like, there's so many minds, not enough hands. I wrote that because it was like, there's so much going on right now. You know, there's just a lot of projects to do. This is a project to do. Editing this is a big project to do. But I think sometimes on this path, you're manifesting and you're creating your own destiny and you're doing the work, you're doing God's work. It can be overwhelming. And so, you know, this guy, he does 10,000 things while standing still. This guy, I'll put his picture back up there for us to pontificate and whatnot. Looks good, man. I want to get a one of those sculptures of that guy. But I do have the Kuan Ins, and I never realized there was a connection that this is actually Kuan Yin. So he does 10,000 things while he's standing still. That's a paradox. How are you going to do 10,000 things while you're standing still? If you relax and keep moving and stay humble and in the mindset of service, you can also be a vessel for all these things. It's God's creation moving through us. It's a miracle. It's a miracle, man. It's just incredible to watch. I have so much gratitude for all the people that have taught me and supported me along the way. And amazing. It's like nothing's even really happened yet, but it's all happening. So just for that, I'm grateful that it just keeps on happening. 10,000 things all happening. I wonder how I turn these stupid alarms off. I gotta turn these little alarm bells off one of these days. But that's another thing. Like, I have all these notebooks and notes everywhere, and it's like this thing and this thing. How am I gonna get to all these things? This is how. This guy, he does it all. I don't do anything. I'm just a vessel. I'm like the dreamer. I'm just dreaming, but I am doing. But if you do the right things, then, you know, this guy will help you out. And it all kind of works out. But you have to also really maintain humility. You really have to be of service to other people. And that's an easy thing to say. It's a really easy thing to hear. But it's a difficult thing to understand in every moment, because there's so many, there's infinite moments of existence. No two moments are the same. So how do you interpret something in a situation like that when you're, you know, constantly faced with a new moment? How do you take something old and apply it to something it's never happened before, like right now? Well, there's a limiting mindset that says rich people are evil, right? So we talked about this another time a couple months ago. I used to have this limiting mindset of, money is the root of all evil. It's a negative mindset, and all it does is hinder the growth. Mindset's going to stop you from being successful every time. But Solzhenitsyn says that the line of good and evil, the line between good and evil runs between the heart of every man, or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody has good, everybody has evil. There's still good in you. I can see it. But a worse mindset than that, because that's a limiting mindset. The other limiting mindset is that not every day can be a win. Like, you have good days and you have bad days. You can't win them all. That's kind of bullshit. You can win them all. I know people who really, like, the worst day is probably kind of like a moderately good day for a lot of people. And again, I think this goes back to the same thing. This is just mindset manifestation. You're putting the vibration out there into the universe, and it's going to come back and reflect back at you. The whole world is like a mirror out there. So whatever you put out there, you're going to get back. So you put a bunch of negative shit out there, you're going to get negative shit back. You put mass shit out there, you're probably going to get mass shit back. He does 10,000 things while he's standing still. How do mass producers do it? How does Alex Hormozy do it? It was an interesting distinction, a categorization of humans, makers and managers. And each one of them approaches their day and has a different ideal schedule, is what he said. They kind of approach time in a different way, because the managers have, what do you say? Like, you have like 15-minute, intervals, and you've got all these meetings that you can do, and you got all these little tasks that you can parse out, and you can delegate stuff, and you can check on productivity. It's very high grain mustard shit, high frequency mustard shit. You got to pump those numbers up. So, The maker has the opposite type of schedule. The maker has these big time chunks because they're producing a big project. I have to be in a different headspace to be able to think creatively. It's a totally different way of working. The manager mindset works with the high frequency mustard shit. And the maker mindset works like this guy. Kind of like this guy. Lots of stuff going on at once, but at the end of the day, a beautiful piece of art comes out that you can use over and over and over and over again. So what you're doing, you're creating leverage. You're creating the thing that actually drives and makes the business what it is. The manager is like managing that business and taking that and leveraging the item and like actually pulling the lever. Like they're the ones that are out there like pulling it and turning that into revenue and traction and all that. So you can't do one without the other. You can't have a business with just makers and you can't have a business with just managers. So how do the producers do this? 10,000 things that are going on because there's a lot going on. I have like 1, 2, 3 different consulting things. And then I've got people calling and talking about this opportunity, that opportunity. The season's going to come up. This is going to be a phenomenal growth season. I mean, I can just feel it. Like Phil Collins, like ba-dum, 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 bum, bum. I can feel that shit coming in the air tonight for sure. I think you got to relax. I'm going to find out. That's basically the bottom line of this whole thing. How do the producers do it? How do these mass producers like Alex Hormozy, Gary Vaynerchuk, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Patrick Bet-David, Tim Pool, all these guys that just, I mean, they're just creating and producing and producing and producing and like writing books and making podcasts and like, dude, that's crazy that they can get all that stuff done and then still have time to like go on a podcast every day and talk about stuff. Like, what is that? It's hustle, man, but it's also various forms of leverage. They all look at other producers. They look forward. They stay busy. They build people, networks, and teams. That's a key right there. They all communicate excessively. I'm sure that all of those guys are very good communicators. They all give. They all serve. None of them look back. None of them give up. And none of them relax. And so as long as you're moving forward, I had to just get it out in some lightning just now today, just so I could knock it out and just check it off the list in sort of an obligatory sense, you know, like I owe it to God, the creator that's bringing all this Avalokitesvara Buddha, Namo Avalokitesvara Buddha, Namo Avalokitesvara Buddha, who's also the Om Mani Padhmi Hum is the Buddha of great compassion. It means the jewel of the lotus is in the heart. And I mean, that goes back to service, man. It goes back to giving. It goes back to service. It goes back to the world being a reflection of what you're putting out, and you're going to get back what you put out. Yeah. I don't know. Life is a miracle. I appreciate everybody out there listening. We're going to keep on grinding, keep on crushing. This game is getting good. We'll see what the next twist and turn brings us. I'm sure it'll be something fantastic. Love you all. Hope everybody's growing and learning and having the same type of, I want everybody to be able to have the same feeling, the same kind of insights that I'm having. So that's kind of why I'm doing this. Appreciate y'all for listening. Peace out. Say hi to Lavernius if you see that crazy fucker. Feel the wind blow. Keep pushing forward, never let go.